Who is Baela Targaryen? House of the Dragon Explained. Warning: this video contains spoilers for House of the Dragon, George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, and future events from the Dance of the Dragons. If you're avoiding spoilers, this is your warning. Now, let's begin. Among all the Targaryens in House of the Dragon, some characters demand attention the moment they appear. Daemon Targaryen, Rhaenyra Targaryen, Aemon Targaryen. Daemon's daughters, however, often remain in the background. At least, that's how it seems. But don't let that fool you. One of Daemon's daughters eventually becomes one of the most important women in the history of House Targaryen. She isn't remembered for endless speeches. She isn't driven by ambition for the Iron Throne. Instead, she earns her place through courage, loyalty, and an unbreakable fighting spirit. Her name is Baela Targaryen. She is the daughter of Prince Daemon Targaryen and Lady Laena Velaryon, the granddaughter of Velaryon, the legendary sea snake, the rider of the young dragon Moondancer, and one of Queen Rhaenyra's strongest supporters during the brutal civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons. But who exactly is Baela? Why is she so important to the Targaryen bloodline? How powerful is her dragon? And what ultimately happens to her during the Dance of the Dragons? Let's explain. Born into two powerful bloodlines, Baela Targaryen was born into one of the most powerful families in Westeros. Her father was Prince Daemon Targaryen, one of the greatest warriors and most feared dragonriders of his generation. Her mother was Lady Laena Velaryon, daughter of Lord Velaryon and Princess Rhaenys Targaryen. That meant Baela inherited the blood of both old Valyria's greatest houses, the Targaryens and the Velaryons. She also had a younger twin sister, Rhaena Targaryen. Although they were twins, the sisters were very different. Baela was adventurous, fearless, and often resembled her father in personality. Rhaena was quieter, more thoughtful, and struggled with the fact that she had no dragon during her childhood. Despite their differences, the sisters remained deeply loyal to each other throughout their lives. Growing up with Daemon. After the tragic death of Laena Velaryon, Baela and Rhaena were raised largely by their father. Daemon was never an ordinary parent. He expected strength, he admired courage, and he respected determination above everything else. Baela inherited many of those qualities. She wasn't interested in court politics or living a quiet, noble life. Like Daemon, she preferred action over words. She learned to ride dragons. She embraced danger. And she grew into one of the bravest young members of House Targaryen. The Dragon Moondancer. Every great Targaryen is remembered alongside their dragon. For Baela, that dragon was Moondancer. Unlike enormous dragons such as Vhagar or Caraxes, Moondancer was relatively small. But size wasn't Moondancer's greatest strength. Speed was. The dragon was incredibly fast, agile, and capable of sharp aerial maneuvers that larger dragons struggled to match. Baela formed a close bond with Moondancer from an early age. Together, rider and dragon became one of the most formidable pairs fighting for Queen Rhaenyra during the Dance of the Dragons. Although Moondancer lacked the overwhelming power of older dragons, courage often mattered more than size. Baela would eventually prove exactly that. Why Baela supported Rhaenyra? When King Viserys I died, the kingdom split into two rival factions. The Greens supported Aegon II. The Blacks supported Princess Rhaenyra. For Baela, the choice was never difficult. Rhaenyra wasn't just her stepmother. She was family. After Daemon married Rhaenyra, Baela became part of her household and developed a close relationship with her. She firmly believed Rhaenyra was the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Unlike some nobles who changed sides for power or survival, Baela remained loyal throughout the war, even when the conflict became increasingly dangerous. Her engagement to Jacaerys Velaryon. To strengthen alliances within House Targaryen, Baela was betrothed to Prince Jacaerys Velaryon, Rhaenyra's eldest son and heir. The match united two branches of the family. It also reinforced the alliance between the Targaryens and the Velaryons. Although the Dance of the Dragons prevented them from enjoying a peaceful future together, the engagement demonstrated how central Baela had become to Rhaenyra's plans for the future of the realm. The battle above Dragonstone. One of Baela's greatest moments came late in the Dance of the Dragons. By then, Aegon II had returned to Dragonstone. Baela refused to surrender. Instead, she mounted Moondancer and challenged the king himself. Waiting for Aegon was Sunfire, one of the most beautiful dragons ever born. Although Sunfire had already suffered terrible injuries during the war, he remained much larger and stronger than Moondancer. The battle that followed was incredibly uneven. Moondancer used speed to avoid Sunfire's attacks. Baela flew fearlessly, striking whenever she found an opening. For a time, the smaller dragon even seemed capable of winning. But eventually, Sunfire's size became overwhelming. The dragons crashed to the ground in a violent collision. Moondancer died from her injuries. Baela survived, though she was badly wounded. Sunfire also suffered catastrophic injuries during the battle and would not live much longer. It was one of the most costly dragon duels in the entire war. What happened after the dance? Despite everything she endured, Baela survived the Dance of the Dragons. That alone made her one of the fortunate members of House Targaryen. The civil war devastated nearly every branch of the family. Most dragons were dead. Countless princes and princesses had fallen. The dynasty itself had been permanently weakened. Baela eventually married Alan Velaryon, the famous sailor known as the Oakenfist. Together, they helped rebuild House Velaryon after the devastating conflict. Although she never became queen, Baela remained an important figure during the reign of King Aegon III. Why Baela matters. Baela often receives less attention than Daemon, Rhaenyra, or Aemond. Yet she represents many of the qualities that made House Targaryen legendary. She was fearless. She remained loyal to her family. She fought even when victory seemed impossible. Most importantly, she never abandoned her principles. While many nobles switched sides during the Dance of the Dragons, Baela stayed true to Rhaenyra until the very end. That unwavering loyalty is one reason many readers consider her one of the most admirable characters in Fire and Blood. What to expect in House of the Dragon? As House of the Dragon continues adapting the events of Fire and Blood, Baela's role is expected to grow significantly. The Dance of the Dragons is entering its most destructive phase. Major dragon battles are still to come. Political alliances will continue to shift. And Baela's courage will become increasingly important to the Black cause. Without revealing every future event, it's safe to say that some of Baela's defining moments have not yet appeared on screen. Fans of the books know that her greatest tests still lie ahead. So, who is Baela Targaryen? She is the daughter of Daemon Targaryen and Laena Velaryon, the granddaughter of Corlys Velaryon and Princess Rhaenys, the fearless rider of the dragon Moondancer, a loyal supporter of Queen Rhaenyra during the Dance of the Dragons, and one of the few members of House Targaryen to survive one of the bloodiest civil wars in Westerosi history. While other characters chased crowns and power, Baela earned respect through courage, loyalty, and sacrifice. That is why she remains one of the most compelling young Targaryens in George R.R. Martin's world. What do you think? Will Baela become one of the breakout characters in the remaining seasons of House of the Dragon? Or is there another Targaryen whose story you're most excited to see? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon explainers, Game of Thrones lore, Fire and Blood breakdowns, hidden details, and entertainment news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.